It starts with tension you can almost feel through the screen. A camera light blinks on, a crew member whispers, rolling, and suddenly, two of the most controversial men in America are face to face. Donald Trump, confident, smiling, ready to command the moment, and Tucker Carlson, calm but cold, eyes locked on him like he's about to drop something huge. At first, you'd think it's just another interview, one of hundreds Trump's done, but this one feels different. There's a strange quiet between the laughs. Tucker's not laughing back. He's waiting, watching. And within minutes, the energy in the room shifts. You can tell something is about to explode. Because what starts as small talk quickly spirals into confrontation. Donald Trump doesn't know it yet, but Tucker isn't here for soft questions or old campaign stories. He's here to call him out on something Trump thought would never see daylight. And when Tucker finally brings it up, Trump freezes, just for a second, but enough for everyone watching to realize this isn't scripted and it definitely isn't friendly. What happens next, no one in that studio could have predicted. A clash of power, pride, and truth that ends with a moment so raw, even Tucker Carlson didn't know how to react. Stay with me, because what unfolds next may be one of the most explosive on-camera confrontations Trump has ever faced. The setting couldn't have been more controlled, or so everyone thought. A dimly lit studio, 2 chairs, 1 camera angle, every detail chosen to make the moment look calm, professional, and presidential. But beneath that calm, the tension was ready to erupt. Trump walks in first, his trademark confidence filling the room before he even says a word. Crew members adjust microphones, shuffle notes, trying not to make eye contact. Everyone knows this interview isn't just about politics, it's about power. Tucker sits quietly, flipping through his questions, pretending not to look up, but his expression says everything. He's not here to flatter Trump, he's here to test him. And Trump senses it. He leans back in his chair, eyes narrowing slightly. It's that same look he used during debates, the one that says, "I see what you're doing." But unlike a debate, there's no audience, no cheering crowd, no safety net, just silence. Then the cameras roll. The first few questions are harmless. Election strategy, the state of the economy, the usual. Trump answers smoothly, even jokes once or twice. But the calm doesn't last long, because Tucker starts to shift. His tone changes, sharper, colder, almost surgical. He asks something that cuts deeper, something personal, something Trump wasn't expecting. And that's when the real story begins. The polite smiles fade, the air gets heavy. You can practically hear the heartbeat in the silence between their words. For a few fleeting minutes, everything seems normal. Trump leans back, speaking with that familiar rhythm, the hand gestures, the quick smiles, the pauses just long enough for his words to sink in. But Tucker nods occasionally, giving the impression he's just listening, but his eyes say otherwise. He's calculating, waiting for the right moment to strike. And Trump senses it. He leans back in his chair, eyes narrowing slightly. It's that same look he used during debates, the one that says, "I see what you're doing." But unlike a debate, there's no audience, no cheering crowd, no safety net, just silence. Then the cameras roll. The first few questions are harmless. Election strategy, the state of the economy, the usual. Trump answers smoothly, even jokes once or twice. But the calm doesn't last long, because Tucker starts to shift. His tone changes, sharper, colder, almost surgical. He asks something that cuts deeper, something personal, something Trump wasn't expecting. And that's when the real story begins. The polite smiles fade, the air gets heavy. You can practically hear the heartbeat in the silence between their words. And then it happens. That exact moment when the tone changes, when the air thickens and the smiles vanish, you can feel it even through the camera lens. Tucker's voice drops lower, quieter, the kind of calm that you lean in. He asks about something no one expected him to bring up, a private conversation, a decision Trump made behind closed doors, one that's been whispered about but never confronted head on. Trump blinks. For the first time, his confidence falters. It's subtle, just a flicker, but for a man so practiced in control, that tiny pause says everything. He leans forward, narrowing his eyes. He asks, "Where'd you hear that?" Half curious, half warning. Tucker doesn't answer. Instead, he repeats the question, word for word, slower this time, like he's daring Trump to respond. That's when Trump changes posture, shoulders tense, jaw tight. His tone shifts from charm to challenge. He starts talking faster, louder, repeating points, trying to reclaim control of the moment. But Tucker stays still. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't blink. The silence between Trump's sentences becomes deafening. And that's when the real drama unfolds. Trump realizes he's no longer driving the conversation. Tucker is. Every word, every pause, every raised eyebrow, all designed to push him further off balance. The audience watching doesn't know where this is going. But one thing is clear. This is no longer an interview. It's a test. One of power, pride, and truth. And for the first time in a long time, Donald Trump looks like he's been caught off guard. Tucker finally says it. The question that's been hanging in the air, circling the room like smoke. "Mr. President, did you know about it before it happened?" The studio goes silent. No one moves. Even the faint hum of the lights feels louder. Trump freezes, just for a second, before his eyes narrow. "About what?" he says, the tone sharp, defensive. But Tucker doesn't flinch. He repeats it, slower this time, each word heavier than the last. He's talking about the alleged back channel, the one whispered about in political circles, the rumor that Trump had inside knowledge of something explosive before it went public. Trump laughs it off at first, that quick, practiced laugh meant to deflect. "Fake news," he says, waving his hand like he's swatting a fly. "You know better than that, Tucker." But Tucker doesn't smile. He leans forward, elbows on the table, voice calm but cutting. "So you're denying any involvement?" It's not just a question, it's a challenge. Trump shifts in his chair, breaking eye contact for the first time. "I didn't say that," he fires back. "I said it's fake." There's a beat of silence. Tucker just stares. No notes, no follow-up, just that piercing look. And Trump, visibly annoyed now, starts to talk faster, listing names, dates, claiming he's being set up. The confidence is still there, but something underneath it has cracked. Behind the cameras, someone coughs, the kind of nervous sound that happens when everyone realizes they're witnessing something real, something unscripted. Tucker leans back slightly, almost satisfied. He doesn't need to say more. The question alone has done its job. Because in that one moment, the calm, controlled Donald Trump we usually see on camera is gone. And what's left is raw emotion. Frustration, disbelief, maybe even fear, playing out in real time. But the interview isn't over yet. The tension now feels electric, like a storm about to strike. Trump's voice rises, his gestures sharper, every word coming out faster than the last. You can see it, the frustration building. He's not just defending himself anymore, he's fighting to take back control. Tucker doesn't back off. He doesn't interrupt. He just lets the silence hang, forcing Trump to fill it. And Trump does, with passion, anger, and a flurry of half-finished sentences that reveal more than he realizes. He starts naming people. He knows the truth, he says. They were there, they saw it. But the more he talks, the more Tucker's expression changes. Not confrontational now, but curious, almost skeptical. It's the look of a man who knows he's getting what he came for. The camera zooms in slightly. Trump's breathing quickens. His hand taps the armrest, an old tell of irritation.
He leans forward, trying to control the frame, his voice booming. "You people always twist everything. You know it, Tucker." The crew freezes. This isn't the calm, witty Trump from campaign rallies. This is raw emotion, unfiltered, boiling over. Tucker finally speaks, quietly, almost too calm. "I'm just asking what people want to know." And that's what makes it worse. Because Trump realizes Tucker isn't the enemy in that moment. He's the mirror, reflecting the chaos back at him. Trump exhales long and sharp. He looks away for a second, muttering something under his breath the mic barely catches. Then he turns back, forcing a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "You want headlines? You'll get headlines." It's a warning, not a statement. The kind that makes everyone in the room glance at each other, unsure what comes next. And when Tucker presses one last time, "So you're saying it's all coincidence?" Trump's silence says more than any answer could. The pressure is now unbearable. Every camera, every crew member, every viewer watching knows something is about to break. And then it happens. The moment no one could have predicted. Trump slams his hand on the armrest, not in rage exactly, but in sheer disbelief. "You know what, Tucker? I've had it with this nonsense," he says, voice echoing through the room. The mask of composure is gone. This is unfiltered Trump, the one who doesn't hold back. Tucker stays still, eyes fixed, unblinking. He doesn't argue. He doesn't even move. He just lets that silence hang, and that silence is deafening. Trump leans forward, his tone sharp, each word like a jab. "You invite me here for what? To ambush me? To make headlines for you?" He's not waiting for answers anymore. He's venting, pacing verbally, like a man trying to wrestle control from thin air. But Tucker keeps that same cold calm, the kind that only makes the anger burn hotter. "Mr. President, I think the American people just want honesty." That line, that one word, honesty, hits like a spark in dry grass. Trump's eyes widen. "Don't lecture me about honesty, Tucker. I've dealt with more lies from your network than anyone." The crew daren't breathe. You can hear the hum of the studio lights, the creak of a chair as someone shifts, the tension wrapping around everyone like a vice. Then Trump stands, not storming out yet, but clearly done playing nice. "You know what? You're part of the problem. All of you," he gestures toward the cameras. "Every time I try to talk truth, you twist it." Tucker tilts his head, still calm, still quiet. "Then tell it," he says softly. For a second, Trump freezes, caught between fury and something that almost looks like exhaustion. He exhales, adjusts his jacket, and mutters, "You'll see soon enough." Then with one last glare, he stands and walks off frame. The camera keeps rolling, catching the echo of his footsteps fading down the hallway. Tucker doesn't move. He just sighs, looks straight into the lens, and says, "That was not what I expected." The feed cuts there. No outro, no sign-off, just silence and the sense that something irreversible just happened on camera.